Hey everyone! Just went to grab some notes because we're going to talk over something real quick. But I'm going to let more people come in. So, who's here? Guys, let yourselves be known. You know the drill. Come on, come on, come on. Any of my regulars? Denise is here. Denise is here. Denise is here. So, Denise, what did you think about that video that I sent you? Have you watched it the whole way through yet? What are your immediate thoughts? I would like to know. That is the video that I send everyone that finds their way to me and asks me questions. That one video, and only that one video, is all that's really needed. So, what did you think of it, Denise? Let me know. Incidentally, guys, 34 days until the big show. Yes, Denise, the 2.5 hour one. 34 days. I'm a random question follower that's here. Alcade Salisbury. Sure, ask away. Ask away. Ask questions. Because I've never seen you before, I don't think. You thought it was very interesting the way that everything connected. Yeah. This is the true conspiracy. This is one of those things that's real, that can be shown with evidence, and that it is the case. It also answered a lot of questions. I hope so. I really tried to make that an all-inclusive video. I tried to make it an all-inclusive video. My 2.5 hour one. The idea is to wake people up. See, the Bible isn't just astrotheology. It's a ton. It's a psychedelic book. It's a numerology, gematria, etymology, numerology, mythology, spiritual. It's all these books. But if I can open your eye to just one, that should send you down the rabbit hole. All I want to do in life is wake people up and send them down the rabbit hole. That's all my job is to show you something new, something that makes sense, and then that's going to wake everybody up. I'm telling you guys, this is the way. I've been telling you for 4 years now, maybe 4.5 years now, that this is the way. Libby's here. What's up? So, guys, now that you're here, I want to talk to you guys about something that they lie to you about. I just made a video about this, but many of you may have not seen it. So, I have my calculations here. So, I'm going to read this to you because I did this 2 days ago, and it still blows my mind. So, they tell you, whenever they tell you how far something is in the universe, they tell you by light years, or they give you the meters per second, but they never actually tell you what a light year is. Well, let's talk about this. In the standard model, the universe is 14.7 billion years old. However, due to time dilation, it's 45 billion years across. Now, how's that possible? So, at the outer regions of our standard model, it is 45 billion years. 45. Meters per second squared, the speed of light is 299,292,458 meters per second. So let's do some conversions. Times that by 3 meters to feet, then times that by 60. Now we have the speed of light per minute. Then you times that by 60 again. Now it's per hour. Then you times that by 24 per day. And then when you're done with that, well, no, you're going to times it 24, and now you have the speed of light per day. And then multiply that by 365. The number that comes up when you do this correctly Incidentally, after you multiply by 365, you're going to get an astronomical number. You have to divide that by 5,280 because that's converting feet into miles, so we can get miles. So a light year's miles is 678,598,484,848. But if it can go 678 billion miles in a year, how's the universe only 45 billion years across? You see, when you start finding out that they use specific words so you don't have to go physically and look it up. Remember, I tell you guys the root of the word, right? So this is one thing that they do. 678 billion miles across. Billion miles. That's the speed of light. Now that's going to bring up some uncomfortable questions if anybody were to ever get that out. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I was reading the Adam Eve story by Chan Thomas, and that fucked my mind up. What was the story about, Libby? Oh, and Denise, let me ask you a question. Does this make more sense than the answers you were given in church? Well, we have you here, Denise. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And it's getting close, guys. It's getting close. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to just lay it out. I'm here for a little while, at least. So I'm here, guys. So feel free to ask whenever you guys have questions. I might have somebody come on in a little bit. Also, you can just totally just come on. Hold on, guys. I'm just editing something real quick. So, guys, sorry, I was doing something for you. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, Denise says, yes, I did answer a lot of questions. Also connected for me the difference in religions and the similarities that I knew. Good. Libby says, the story reveals that Lilith was Adam's first wife and Eve was actually his daughter, but after I don't believe that. Even knowing about Lilith. I've never heard that before. Is it a convincing case? So much information out there. Lilith died, leaving Adam a widower. Lilith became the queen of the demons, I believe. Is what happened to Lilith. She became the queen of the demons. Yeah. Lilith was Adam's first wife. And the reason she got kicked out is because, remember, she wasn't made from a rib, right? Like Eve was. Lilith was made from the dirt, just like Adam was. So she thought that they were equals. She saw them as equals. Adam did not. Adam wanted her to submit. More specifically, missionary position. And she refused. She got kicked out. And she became the mother of the demons. That's the story I know. There's also a lot of things happening in October. Comets, second moon, solar uptick. I'm still trying to figure out what's happening in 34 days. Well, that's you'll see. I promise you. Well, since I have this, hold on. I'm going to open a PowerPoint. I'm going to show you what else happens in October all the time. So, guys, I want you to see this. Carrie's here.
Hey,
Carrie!
what's up,
Hi,
everybody?
Carrie. So, beautiful. I'm glad that you're here. So, okay. So I was just about to show them the stock market thing, but I can show them the stock market thing after. Let's talk supply chain and weather modification. Now I know you have to go. I know you have to go in 20 minutes, but tell me what you know.
Well, first of all, whoever just posted about all of the stuff going on in October, it's funny because Priscilla and I have been having a lot of dialogue back and forth about that. She actually said that the second moon thing is not actually that rare. So I was like, that's interesting. I wish she could come on, but she'll probably have some more to talk about that.
Some people are freaking out saying it's Nibiru though, but it's silly. It's just coming within our thing. But again, the moon controls the tides of the ocean, so this thing coming into our thing is screwing the weather up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm sure anything kind of coming into our atmosphere is going to make some changes. I personally feel like all of the weather like everything happening with the weather, it's kind of symbolic, right? Like the floodgates are opening. I heard a really interesting, I thought you might find this interesting. I heard a really awesome remote viewing session from Farsight Institute. And they basically said that essentially it all has to happen at once in order for things to change for the better. And I thought that was kind of an interesting take on it because there's only so many of them and a whole lot of us, right? So they were saying that it kind of has to happen this way. So kind of be prepared. And the best kind of thing I think we can do is just reassure those around us that are watching all this trauma unfolding, and people are going through a lot of traumas, to just kind of be there for them and say, you know, we've known this all along, right? I'm sure most of your viewers, they've been in this stuff, you know, like we have years and years and looking at everything. So it is a really fascinating time right now. I'm seeing so much going on, not only with space. I love space weather. If you haven't checked out.
So you don't think that the hurricane was geoengineered to get the public off of the P. Diddy files?
Oh, I absolutely think that that is a distraction. Absolutely. And I said, well, we'll know for sure if it's coming right towards Disney next, right?
Hmm.
Um, in fact, my friend told me something very disturbing yesterday. He said that there was like 2,400, and I don't know, I've been searching for it online. I haven't found anything yet. 2,400 Disney employees, and I don't know if they're currently being investigated or what's happening, but I said, interestingly enough, if these storms start hitting Disney and flooding that out, because there are
Hmm.
tunnels I learned from Priscilla actually under the Biltmore in Asheville. So I was like, wow, could they be,
So they
covering
don't just
up?
blow up Tower 7 anymore. Now they have weather that can do it, and they can clean their hands of it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of, if you study stuff like we do, I'm sure you've come across the fact that there's a lot of crazy, weird things happening in the Appalachian Mountains.
Hmm.
So am I really that surprised? No. My heart is actually breaking because I go up there all the time for vacation, and literally right in the areas like that I go paddleboarding and walk and hike and all that down by Elizabethton and Irwin and Jonesboro, the outside of Johnson City, Kingsport is devastated. So this really, near and dear to my heart. Those are places that I like to go and, hike and vacation and stuff. So, um, man, it's absolutely sad to see what's happening. I have friends over in Treasure Island that literally lost everything. So it's so heartbreaking what's happening. At the same time,
We
like I
were
said,
just at Treasure Island. We
what
were
was
just
that?
at Treasure Island for the UFO conference and for the Patriot Party that we had for 2 days, or for one day, I should say. Sorry. Um, it's sad, but it is on the water, like on the water.
Yeah, yeah, and that place traditionally, hasn't had much flooding, so it's kind of a surprise I think to the residents there that it was that bad. Although we know things are changing, things are building. The Earth is. I feel like the Earth is like at her boiling point, right? Like it's like a fever. She's you
Yep.
know,
Do
it's like
you?
when you're sick and your body's trying to have a fever,
Mhm.
to get it out. But I do. I'm gonna say it. I might be totally wrong about it, but I really do think that there are just awfully coincidental to me personally that the ports are going on strike for quite a lot of money. Now, I compared it to like what FedEx is getting, and they do want relatively around the same amount. So,
Well, they're about to be replaced by AI. They already do it in China. They don't unload the shipping containers anymore. They have an AI monster machine that does it, and then it unloads it, and then it puts it into something, and then that thing is AI driven.
yeah,
I worked in this field. I know this field very well. I worked in this field for from 2008 to 2022. So I was in this field for like 14 years. Like I know what's coming.
yeah,
It's going to be the last raise they ever get.
yeah. And then I think like that, like I saw they write it into their contracts where they can't use AI or fully automated. So yeah, if you just get rid of everybody for a strike, then now what's everybody going to say? You know what I mean? They're not there to defend that. They're gone. So
Right.
uh,
I mean, they don't even realize for every one day that they strike, it's going to take us 7 to get back at that point. The ports are already overloaded. They've already been overloaded. I used to have an app where I could track and see where the ships were in the ocean, right? And
yeah,
I could see just all the dots that were waiting to come into Miami or coming to Charleston or something like that.
yeah. It's interesting, I love to just actually go down. Sometimes I'll take a drive over to down to like Port Canaveral, and I'll just sit up there and have lunch and watch everything being loaded. It's kind of cool to watch. But I just think, if you saw the movie, about the kids and the shipping containers, I just think it's like just awfully coincidental that
That was the other thing that I saw. That was the other thing that I saw. Someone posted about that the dock workers were freaking out because they heard kids screaming in the containers.
oh my gosh. Let me tell you all this right now. Someday our family story may surface through all this. I don't know, but I want to tell you this is very real, and this is something to really, I've said it to my family. I'm like, listen, I will go through a financial crash. I will have to forage for food around here. I will go through whatever I have to go through so that one more kid or a teen, adult, whatever, doesn't have to be in this industry. There is nothing more heartbreaking to see this. And even the kids that get out, their handlers, they have taken their entire lives from them. So they've damaged their credit. They can't do anything. If you guys haven't seen, and Priscilla turned me on to her, Allie's Army. She's been screaming out for help for 3 years, and she documents the police following her and people coming into her yard and, pretending like they're selling life insurance and all this crazy stuff, but just they hop her fence, stuff like that. These kids have been screaming out for help, and no one will come and help them. And this is where you got to say, what is happening that
Right.
we can't get our authorities to come? Where's the good ones? Where are you at? Stand up for these people. Like, I feel like, almost helpless to a degree. I have done my part in what I could feel that I could do. But, where's these, like the tough guys, the where are they at to come protect these kids? And when they're screaming out for help, like, where are they? Where are they? And this
And that's
girl's
what you're going to see, because Diddy is the Black Epstein, and those names are already starting to come out, and it's going to destroy so many industries, and people are going to be awake to the pedophile world order.
Yeah, go shopping now. I'm telling you.
We've been screaming about for freaking 15 years, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah. So like I was saying, everything has to implode at once. So this is like the start of the dominoes. I think most of us know this. It's the start of the dominoes. And essentially when, these connections come out and one is linked to another, you're going to see it. I was in the music industry for a while. I'm having like PTSD from what I'm hearing and things I know.
Right.
Because I'm like, wow, I actually know that to be a true fact. I've never, now I did get
it's going to surprise a lot of people when they find out that like gangsta rap. I love rap. I love the wordplay. I love the entendres. I'm a student of language, so I really appreciate that. But they're going to come to find out that gangsta rap, the public is going to come to find out that gangsta rap, with all them screaming and all those girls dancing in videos, is actually probably one of the most homosexual institutions out there. They're all gay.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. And that's, I think, part of why, the agenda is being pushed so hard. And it's like, hey, that's fine if you're gay. Like, I have gay friend. My best friend is gay. It is what it is. I'm not saying anything about that. But the way they push it, it's like, I don't go around talking about, like majority of people, we don't just go out there and like put it out there, our sex lives or what we do, or, it's just not like a common thing. So that's where I was kind of like, okay, why are we pushing it so hard? We have to stop and ask ourselves these questions. But like I said, I think this is going to like, okay, let's think about this. This isn't just about the rap mogul world. It's going to lead back to, the high profile, both white and black or whatever, Asian, I don't know, everybody connected to all of these things. Because if you listen to Allie's story, first of all, you're going to see she names a lot of names. And, these players are connected to other players, right? So if they're connected to, say, food chains, banking, these different supply things, I think that all of this is really connected with the ports. I really do, because, like I said, they can't control all the holes in the dam at once. There's not enough of them. I mean, take a guess at how, if we guess at how many of these people are in these circles and run this stuff. Let's talk high level.
Mm-hmm.
I once heard Thomas Williams on Truth, Honor, Integrity show. He said that there was like these 5 off-planetary beings running everything. He had hundreds of hours of information they uncovered, which absolutely blew my mind. It was way deeper than I thought it was. But anyway, these 300 families, 300, the movie, 300 families like run everything. And if there's these 300 families, which equal to how many, thousands of people. There's 8 billion of us.
Mm-hmm.
How does that equate? So if they're poking all the holes in the dam at once, right? The dam is going to come up. They can't plug all the holes at once, and people are going to start to see things. But I really, it's one of those things where you start, like I was saying, I was kind of questioning, like, okay, what's our purpose here? What are we here for? I always thought that, like, we don't just come here to work and slave away and kill ourselves and, have kids and then die. There's got to be greater purposes for things. And I really feel that, like, people like us that we know, we're meant to help with the traumas that this is all going to cause, because this is going to really rock people. I mean, when I was telling my mom about this when it first started to come out, sorry, my battery's getting low. When I was telling my mom about it, and like I told her one of her favorite actors had been kind of exposed, and she was so distressed. She's like, I can't believe this. Like, are you sure? Like, I know things that are, you study, you look at things, but she was like, really? Like, it just took her the longest time. But since that moment, now she's starting to see it. It was kind of like her moment. Everybody says they have their, moment of awakening, which I say mine was, probably about 14, 16 for me. Cause like I said, my parents talked about it all the time. This was, well, not my mom so much, but my dad, he was very instrumental in having those conversations when I was a kid and telling me things. It was a little scary, but now I'm glad he did, because my whole life, I'm like, hold on. I stop and I question things. So I think this is what we have to do now, is we have to take a big step back and say,
I think my biggest question is, I really trusted Ashton Kutcher for a while. I trusted him with his sex trafficking work he had done. He had been in Congress. He had talked about the sex trafficking. He came up with something. Him and Mila were doing something together with that. And that
trying to get out. And that's, I think, the forgiveness we're going to have with a lot of people is, I think a lot of them, they're trying to get out. They just don't know how.
Well, I wasn't very impressed when, the Danny Masterson rape cases, right?
The Danny Masterson, what was that?
The rape cases?
I don't know if I know about that.
He was the redheaded dude from that 70s show.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I'm plugging my phone back in, y'all.
And Ashton ended up doing a new TV show with him, with that old dude. What's his name? Sam.
I won't. I'm so bad with names anyway. Like, you tell me their face or what they play, I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know their names.
So let me answer this question real quick. Hold on. There's a lot of things happening in October. Comets, second moon, solar uptick. Still trying to figure out what's happening in 34 days. Well, let me show you this, because I've been trying to bring it up.
I agree.
Now, a lot of you who've seen
a big turning point.
So check this out, guys. Why do they always crash the stock market in Libra? The Panic of 1907, October 1907. Teddy Roosevelt was president, Republican. The Wall Street crash of 1929, October 24th, 1929. Herbert Hoover, Republican. Black Monday, October 19th, 1987. Ronald Reagan, Republican. October 13th, 1989, Friday the 14th mini crash. George H.W. Bush, Republican. Stock market downturn of 2002. George W. Bush, October 9th, 2002. 10% in most of the world's indices drop, October 24th, 2008, George W. Bush, Republican. So do we see a pattern here?
Yeah.
Do we see a pattern here, guys, that's watching and everything? I think, if I were to guess, that Congress is going to, after Iran bombed Israel, Congress is going to unite to send money to Israel. I think this is a way for the Democrats to get away from the Free Palestine people. I think that's what's going to happen. I also think that I also don't think there's going to be a stock crash this year, but if Trump gets back into office, I bet you that the AI from BlackRock called Aladdin, which is their major AI platform, is so powerful that it actually sets trends in markets, not just cashes in on them. I wouldn't be surprised if they push that. There's a lot of stuff out there. Look into that, Gary. Look into Aladdin.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it, but I haven't explored it. When I started looking at the patents for some of this stuff with AI, these things go back to the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been there. And a long time ago, as you guys, if you've ever seen me on Micah shows before, I've kind of told some stories of me kind of finding out some things that were going on. So I'd write a lot of letters. I'd write a lot of letters. And one thing I was always told by, peers and people that were in study groups with me and stuff, for like more on the equity law side, they would say, whatever you do, don't use templates, like always make your own, create your own, because they have machine. And I heard this years ago, they have machines. It's before we even knew what AI was, that will read everything and decipher whether or not that document has been submitted before.
What?
So I was like, wow. So then, here we are now with AI, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. So I started doing some digging, looking into some patents. The patent stuff will blow your mind. I mean, literally after I was in there for like a month, I turned off my cable, no TV, like the sounds that they're emitting. There's some stuff in there, y'all. If you are unsure, on the fence about this stuff, whether it's really happening, just sit down and start digging through the patents. It's all there. It's all there. And the AI, I have kind of mixed opinions on it, because I firmly believe that we could, right, with good intent, like anything, shape the way these things are machine learning. We're its parent, essentially. On the other hand, we know who's running things and what they can be used for. So, I'm always about a solutions-based thing. So, who's going to step up out there and create an AI system of checks and balances, right? Like, who's going to do that? This is kind of like, I would love to just start podcasts on that myself, like creating solutions. We know this is going to crash. We know this is going to happen. What are the solutions? Let's get ahead of it now. I'm a problems-based person. Aquarians are like that. We're very okay, we know it's coming. What's happening? Let's get ahead of it. So that's kind of my urge to everyone, is if you know something about something on a micro level, on a macro level, your own neighborhood, how can you start to do that? So I've been hearing, started having dreams about food shortages, which maybe this is part of it with the ports closing. And then I read Patty Kelly's book, and she said it was coming. And then it just hit me several times, food shortage coming. Then I saw the Illuminati playing card, and I'm like, okay, it's coming, right? So then I started thinking, okay, well, what could solve that? And my neighbors and I, we all share fruit and food in our neighborhood. So I used to grow crazy tomato vines. I don't know why. They'd be 12.
Oh my God, I'm telling the police on you. Sharing food?
Yeah, sharing food, kind of scary. So I would grow these tomatoes, and then my neighbor has lemons and limes. We all have all these trees, right? My neighbor has chickens, so there's eggs available. So we would all exchange and give each other everything. And I was like, if everyone just had one tree or two trees in their yard, it literally would change everything. There would be no food shortages. There would be no people looting to get food. And maybe, again, do we think about maybe this has to happen to stop all the crap?
A long time ago, a lot of the streets used to have fruit trees. And then the government replaced them with a different type of tree that doesn't grow fruit.
Yeah, and all male trees. I'm sure you've heard that.
Because that's how you feed people. Because if you're hungry, just grab something off the tree.
Yeah, exactly. So that was.
They want that Roundup all over it.
Yeah. Well, we actually, I started a group called Neighborhood Solutions. And I kind of wanted to start a movement where people did this kind of on their own, and started one for each town. And it kind of took off a little bit around here. People were exchanging, and I love to grow, and I'm kind of a little green thumb. So I love putting, giving people trees that I grew from avocados. And I use heirloom seeds, and I don't use anything, no pesticides, no anything on it. Whatever grows, grows. And it was kind of like taking off for a while, and it petered out. But I really think if something happens, I think that concept is gonna blow up, because it's not hard to do. Like if everyone just grow, you know how it is. If you grow,
A while back, they got rid of the rooftop gardens in Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys don't realize that in New York City, when it gets warm and when you want to go tanning, there's no beach. You're in a concrete jungle. What you do is you go to the top floor of your building, you go out onto the roof, you bring your chair, and you tan your ass there. That's what people do up there.
Right.
Some roofs are a little prettier than others, but that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that sun, we know it's so important. Everything's so strong right now. So it's kind of interesting. But I hate to jump off. I had an appointment. So I definitely would love to come back and talk more. There's so much. I could talk about the music industry stuff a little more.
Yeah, come on, whenever you want.
I was there and I walked away from it, from stuff I saw. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Everybody just, breathe, stay calm, take your GABA root. That'll calm your anxiety. I know I have to sometimes because it's too much. But I just stop and I go walk in nature and I go, okay, you know what? This is what it is. There's obviously a purpose, a reason that I'm here right now to help calm people around me. I know this stuff. There's a reason we all know. There's a reason that we know and we all connect.
I love that you're like one of the most, whatchamacallit, like, how do I put the words? You are a very special friend to me because you're very mentally with it. I don't get too much of that when I talk to people. But
I try to realize what's going on. I don't let it all get to me, because again, now we're seeing what's happened. I'm like, maybe there's more to all this. Again, who knows? I mean, I'm even exploring the fact that if we are eternal, right? We all are this eternal spirit, this ethereal spirit. Maybe we're starting to tap into stuff. Maybe, things are being open, pathways energetically, so we can kind of see what's happening. And maybe we did choose to be here right now. I mean, I've heard this many times and I'm like, I don't know if I would have chosen this, to be honest, but maybe I did. Maybe at the time I was like, no, I'm going in to fight. Because I can be a little
your higher self just plucked a little piece off.
Yeah. Like we all just, like, honestly, like I've always said, everything centers around love. And when we go back to the what is God thing, when you see everybody as God, you're like, wow, they're just on a different evolvement level. Their frequency may not have tuned into that yet, so it's okay, and I never would have talked about this stuff like 20 years ago. I was a total Bible thumper, and that actually doing that study and reading those words and learning the Koine Greek and the Hebrew and the letters and the gematria and all that, actually it let me see more. So I encourage you, if you are still in there, and I know a lot of people like to come on and bash you and debunk it, hey, do it, because guess what? That's gonna eventually, you're gonna see it. If you really want to know, you spend the time and you go in there and you read this stuff and you're connecting what Micah says, and you're connecting, the fact that, like, I started asking, like, okay, who wrote it? When I found out there was over 20,000 changes from the Geneva to the King James version, I started asking questions. Well, what were they? And one of the first ones I found was a verse. Oh gosh, I'll have to go back and try to find it, but it was about government, right? And we know what that word means, mind control. So it was about like respecting all government, and that was one of the first verses I found. And if you've read these ancient Bibles, you'll see it's very difficult to read them and understand them because they're written in the phonetically. So it'll say, like, in the beginning is BYGYNNYNG, and and then it's spelled differently somewhere else, and then it's spelled differently somewhere else. So
I've been watching the numbers go up. We just hit 70 people.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah,
12 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Hey, that's wonderful. I wish I could stay longer. We just kind of did this on the supply. I'm going to a hair appointment for y'all, so that's why my hair looks all crazy today, because I'm about to go there. Get a
All right,
haircut.
girl, go have fun. We'll talk later.
I'll
Okay.
look better next time I see y'all. But it was so great talking to you, and thank you guys for listening and having an open mind and exploring. Because, like I said, if you don't at least look at it, you stay kind of locked. The information, it can't come. So I just always said I'm not gonna make a judgment. I'm very, I hate to say middle of the road on a lot of things, but I am, because I say let me take both sides in and look at the data. And what does the data say? Okay, this is saying this is saying this. I don't understand right now, but I'm going to come back to it later. And usually it'll come back to me some way, some shape, somehow. It'll resurface. But keep digging, keep looking. Look at this stuff. It's fascinating. Just kind of like I say, the Bible to me is a banking book. It's all about banking and accounting. Everybody's going to see it a little different, and that's kind of how I got into what I'm into with securities and banking and those kind of things, because now I've seen what it's saying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many layers, as we know, so many layers: the astrotheology layer, the banking layer, merchantry layer. There's actually even encoded in the book of Numbers, for those of you guys that don't know, Socrates and Plato wrote about it. It was encoding and healing frequencies. Mm-hmm. So we need to dive into that one day, Micah. You and I will have a little
that's what the Sumerian Kings list is. The Sumerian Kings list adds up to 432,000. That's the frequency, 432.
32. Yeah, 432. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's like a language, but I don't know. In a weird way, it's kind of like this big giant treasure hunt to me. I don't know.
It is a treasure hunt. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I feel like I'm doing.
Yeah, it is. It's a treasure hunt. So that's what keeps me busy and kind of looking at things and exploring. And I might hear something that I'm like, I don't know, like I said, but I keep an open mind. I don't sit there and bash people. I don't go on and judge people. And the funny thing to me is most of the people that are writing stuff have no idea. Let me give you a quick example. I know that, I think I know, because I met Usher's mother. I'm pretty sure Usher was pulled into that, because when I met Usher's mother, she warned me very sternly, stay away from anybody by yourself. Never go anywhere without your manager. Always stay with your girls. My little group we had. Everybody stay together. Don't be alone. Don't go to the parties. And she said, and the first thing, we got invited to a party. We were actually asked to open for a major artist for a summer. And the first thing we went in and saw was people doing a bunch of stuff, and not sexual or anything, but just drugs and whatnot. And so I was like, hey, I'm out already. Like I'm already feeling nervous. I got really bad jujus. And so what they're saying is very true. They preying on young people in the industry to bring them in, and that's why I walked away. There's a little story there too, but I saw it early on. But what I'm saying is there's people that have been pulled into this. That's why, in a way, we're going to have a lot of forgiveness for some of these people, because I really feel like they were pulled in, blackmailed. Now you don't know how to get out. So I don't, this is going to be a really interesting time. I just encourage everybody to keep your head on straight. Don't absorb too much of it. You don't want to bring your energy down. Just kind of keep things an open mind. Absorb little bits at a time, because it's going to be a flood. Anyway, with that, I will talk to you guys soon. It was great being on again. Thank you so much, Micah.
The word I was trying to find was well-adjusted. You're one of the most sane, well-adjusted people I know, and they would call you an extremist.
Probably, I guess. I don't know. I don't call myself anything. I try to learn. I'm a nonstop learner. That's what I am. So anyway,
right, have fun at your hair appointment. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, let me go back to the questions real quick. There's definitely a delay in me responding to you and you seeing the message. Okay. Has anyone actually seen the second moon? I've seen the pattern that it's going to take for that period of time. By similarities, I meant a Jesus figure. Every religion seems to have a Jesus. It's not a Jesus figure. It's the Savior. and you're going to learn about his hero's journey. And that's what they're telling you in everything. All right. The doctor is here. Will this affect Christmas sales? Well, sales of what? No way, not Snoop Dogg. There's some that aren't. The majority are. I'm sorry. This is a really hard thing to come to terms with. But as chauvinistic as male rap is, they're all gay. Most strippers, male strippers, are gay. Gangsta rap made me do it. Ice Cube. Okay. Exposing the trafficking will shed light on the organ harvesting and also the sacrifices. Guys, if you say you're an organ donor, remove it off your license, get that changed, because they don't try to revive you as much if they know you're an organ donor. They're also not exposing the several countries that dropped the dollar in the last couple of days. Well, because Libby, back in the day, it used to be a very public thing that they would do. We did it with Saddam Hussein, right? We did it with Gaddafi in Libya. We did it. If you guys ever want to see how you could actually be living, Google or use a different search engine and look up how Libyans were living under Gaddafi. The price of everything, what they were given. They also had no central bank. But they're evil, right? So my point simply was this: when Gaddafi and Hussein both said they were getting off the dollar, we invaded them. But now it's happening too quick. We can't catch up, and this will collapse. You have the BRICS nations, right? You have there's another group of people that are centralizing their own the currencies. Listen, it's going to be a big crash because the system is built on nothing. It's all false. It's all based on debt. Everything is based on debt. I was talking to a girl, not like that, but I was talking to a girl a little while ago, and she was telling me a story about how she used to work in big executive parties for big companies. She was in there somehow, receptionist or something. But she told me that at the top level, like at BlackRock level, right? They don't trade in money. They don't use money. They trade in debt. Debt is everything. Debt is the sin that Christians wished sin was. Hey, girl. Brian Wolf. She's tapped in, bro. Bro, the doctor. I only bring the best on this channel. She is tapped in. Wait till you see what she does about finding ways to become sovereign again. She's tapped in. She is. Brian's here. If you were looking to garden, I encourage you to start now, as there is a learning curve. Also get a rain barrel for watering and water storage. Okay? Everything is changing so fast. Goddess too new. This is amazing. I don't think I've seen you before, Goddess. Thank you. Lori. Yeah, I was shocked to find out majority of the music artists I love are a part of this. The question is, who isn't? The ones that don't get all the publicity. You all know who Jordan Maxwell was, right? And what he talked, his revolutionary stuff that he talked about. People like him don't get famous. No. They have to be able to control you. Who isn't? Good question. Joyce. Appreciate the real conversations here. Don't get to talk about these things as most people have not a clue. I believe that the world isn't going to be able to digest what's really been going on. Overthrow. Like Armani pitchforks and torches overthrow is what I'm praying for. Goddess, in the UK, you have to opt out of organ donation as everyone is opt in automatically. I opt out, got my letter. Good. You need a telescope or a Nikon P900. I thought it was the Nikon P1000. I might just be making that up though. Is that the one that can zoom into stars to see what they really look like? What they truly are? That little camera, right? That can do all that crazy zoom. Is that which one you're talking about? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was good for today. Again, 34 days, and something exciting is going to happen. So I will see you soon.